Hey, welcome to 1500ESPN.com. I'm Derek Wetmore, and this is Nate Sandell. We're in the dimly lit Target Center following the press conference to introduce Flip Saunders. Of course, as the head coach of the Timberwolves, he'll retain his president of basketball operations duties. He was introduced today, Nate, at the podium with owner Glenn Taylor as now one of the most powerful men in the NBA. What was the biggest takeaway you took out of the press conference, Nate?
I just think seeing Flip up there was a decision. I think a lot of people, some saw it as inevitable, and I think Flip talked about it, that it kind of came down to, in the last couple of weeks of this search, that they just didn't feel comfortable going through this process with anybody feeling really comfortable that anybody they had talked to was really going to be that guy that take it in a real new direction, that Flip was the best solution, and Flip really tried to drive that point home. And we can argue whether or not that is the right decision, but at the same time, I think Flip was really trying to sell that for now he is the best solution for this team. And that was one of the takeaways I took from it, is the fact that they did talk about this being a somewhat temporary position.
They didn't say a timeline when they'll look to bring a new head coach in, but it sure sounds like that's owner Glenn Taylor's preference. You talked a little bit off camera. Elaborate on Glenn Taylor's vocal preference in this search.
Yeah, that was it definitely stood out to me that Taylor talked a couple times whenever he would get on mic that it was not his preference to have Flip Saunders come in as coach. His preference was always to bring in a new face, somebody that could take the reins of the team while Flips took over that job as president. But again, Taylor even said he hopes that his preference is that in a couple years he's able to put Flip back into that president role and move somebody else to the sidelines. And that's where it's going to be interesting to see how the offseason progresses in terms of who they bring in on this assistant staff and how the season goes on, just to see what direction this squad starts going in terms of management.
Sure. The elephant in the room, of course, Kevin Love. He has the option to opt out of his contract after this coming season. Many believe that the Timberwolves will attempt to trade him. How many questions were asked about Kevin Love? I'm trying to count, maybe 4 or 5. And each time his name was brought up, nobody touched it. They wouldn't go after that with a 100-foot pole. Flip Saunders was asked directly and specifically about Kevin Love a few times and wouldn't use his name in his answers. He tried to distance from that situation without saying anything, of course, because he doesn't want to lose leverage and all of that. But he kept talking about that we team concept, that team needs to be a full structure, like the Spurs, like the Heat. What did you take from all of that, the Kevin Love non-chatter?
You know, my mindset on this begins on Sunday when Flip decides to talk to reporters who were at draft workouts. That wasn't planned. We didn't expect to talk to Flip, but they had come right after the whole Kevin Love's in Boston's meeting with Rajon Rondo and all his guys
out there,
you know,
at Fenway Park.
Exactly, and that was a situation where I just think Flip didn't come out and say he was upset about it, but you could tell just by the way he was talking about it that it rubbed him the wrong way, that was gaining so much media storm. And I think that he said what he needed to say about Love at the time, and then today was really trying to back off it and put the focus on this team. And again, I don't know if that's the right approach, because I feel like if you're the Wolves, you really got to address this thing head on. But at the same time, I think he is trying to maintain some leverage in this situation.
I'm fine with that he tells us anything. As the media, I'm fine he goes around as long as he's making those phone calls to other executives actively shopping Kevin Love. Exactly. That'll do it for 1500ESPN.com. Nate Sandell, Derek Wetmore. If you're interested in this Wolves stuff, Nate's going to have tons of coverage on the website, so keep checking back to 1500ESPN.com. Thanks for watching.